Most people think motorcycles are a source of inconvenience. They're uncomfortable, impractical, dangerous, and expensive. And yeah, if you're doing it wrong, that's true. But in reality, a lot of riders are making motorcycling way harder than it needs to be. They're fighting traffic instead of avoiding it, buying bikes that create problems instead of solving them, and turning riding into a specially planned event instead of just a normal part of their life. So today, I'm going to fix that for you. These are real motorcycle life hacks, actual ways to make riding cheaper, easier, and something you'll do just more often than not. Let's get into it. Many times, street riders spend a lot of time chasing that last 20%, riding faster, leaning harder, braking later, and trying to extract everything the bike has to give. And look, I get it. I'm broken too. My brain doesn't work correctly. That's part of the appeal of motorcycling. It's that balls to the wall performance that we're all thirsting after. But it's also a problem, because the last 20% is where things really start to fall apart. That's where mistakes get really expensive and really painful. That's where the slightly bad line turns into a very expensive hospital bill. That's the moment where overconfidence turns into weeks, months, or even years off of the bike. The hack is simple. Keep your riding limited to 80% of your ability. You don't have to be slow or boring. I never ride like that. But controlled, deliberate, and predictable is where you're going to win. Because when you ride like that, your chances of serious problems are reduced exponentially. You have way more time to react, more margin for error, and more awareness of what's going on around you. If you've seen my vlogs on Sunday, you know I talk about this all the time. You're not constantly riding at the edge of your own ability. And as a result, you stay in the game. And that's what you want. No avoidable crashes, no stupid tickets, no unnecessary downtime while you or your bike, or both, endure costly repairs. Just consistent riding, day after day, year after year. The goal isn't to be the fastest guy on the road for one weekend group ride. The goal, in my opinion, is to be riding 5, 10, 20 years from now. And let's be real, it's hard to do that if you're dead. One of the biggest mistakes that riders make has nothing to do with how they ride. It's what they choose to ride. Most people buy motorcycles based on emotion, and I am not absolved from that sin. Horsepower numbers, brand cachet, winglets, LED underglow. They want a bike that will earn the respect of all those cool cats they run with in the underground racing scene. Although I think we can all agree we're gonna boot out those LED underglow CF motos. And look, cool bikes are cool. I get it. If you're willing to risk your personal safety riding these things, you should at least get that fuzzy feeling when you look at your bike in the garage. I own a lot of motorcycles that I think are just cool. But what a lot of riders don't realize is the wrong bike doesn't just affect how you ride. It often affects how often you ride. Some bikes create way more problems than others, and that might leave a bad taste in your mouth, leading to the oversimplified conclusion that bikes are inconvenient. The uncomfortable ergos of a leader bike that punish you after 30 minutes in the saddle, maintenance schedules that feel like a part-time job to do yourself. Or they require a part-time job to cover the payments at the dealership to do all that service. And if your bike has these limitations, you just ride less. You make excuses, you become a fair weather rider, then you become a weekend warrior, then you become one of those guys that owns a motorcycle but never really rides it. And that's just sad. The hack for this is just buy a bike that solves problems instead of creating them. Buy something comfortable, buy something predictable and usable. Hell, I can't believe I'm saying it. You should probably just buy a Honda, something that doesn't punish you with excessive gooch juice if you dare to ride it to work on a sunny Tuesday in July. Buy the bike you can live with, or don't buy the bike that is simply a lifestyle accessory. Or perhaps keep a beautiful, cool motorcycle that you ride sometimes, but that dependable, practical daily that you want to ride all the time. One of the biggest complaints people have about riding on the street is traffic, and I completely understand this. I think that traffic sucks. There's cars everywhere. There's distracted drivers on their phones, stoplights every 200 feet. You get cut off, sitting in the heat, burning through your clutch plates as you inch your way across town, waiting to become the hood ornament on some Tesla whose driver is far too confident in the self-driving technology. The natural instinct is to try to manage traffic, to deal with it, to find different coping mechanisms and varying degrees of legality and moral flexibility. The hack, in my opinion, is to just stop riding in traffic. You are not obligated to suffer as a motorcyclist. You have rights. Ride early in the morning, later in the evening. Take the route that is longer but used by fewer cars. Cars are always going to take the shortest route possible. They're simply automatons and NPCs in their four-wheeled little cages trying to get where they're trying to go as fast as possible. If the back roads are twice as long but you can go twice as fast, you just crack the code. Because it's simple arithmetic. Because traffic doesn't make riding less fun, it makes it worse in every possible way. It's slower, more dangerous, and somehow more boring at the same time, too. Unless you're revving your BMW M1000RR at the lights and trying to get the adulation and admiration of all of your peers. Truly an impressive combination. Instead of a stressful 30-minute commute surrounded by NPC jesters trying to end your bloodline, you get a 25-minute ride on open roads where you can actually enjoy the motorcycle. It'll be generally the same time, but a completely different experience. Stop trying to optimize within bad conditions, just avoid those bad conditions altogether. One of the fastest ways to make motorcycling more annoying than it needs to be is by trying to save money in all the wrong places. Cheap gear, cheap accessories, questionable gizmos and gadgets you bought on Amazon, a heated clutch lever, what are you doing with that? Each with titles as long as the entire text of Moby Dick, like some Chinese drop shipper drank too much baijiu and fell asleep at their keyboard. I love a good value as much as the next guy, but you get what you pay for. Motorcycles aren't cheap, and riding gear isn't either. It's tempting to cut corners wherever you can. Look, I get it, the economy is in shambles, but cheap garbage has a way of charging you twice. Bad gloves that fall apart after a season, a broke boy phone mount that turns your $1,000 smartphone into pixie dust on the side of the road, luggage that doesn't quite fit your bike right, doesn't hold anything bigger than a lunchbox, and definitely doesn't even stay waterproof when you need it to. Look, none of these are catastrophic problems, but they're somehow worse than that. They're small, constant annoyances that show up every single time you ride, like getting a paper cut in between your toes every time you swing a leg over your bike. Over time, it's just going to add up. It makes riding a little less enjoyable, a little less convenient, and a little more frustrating than it should be. The hack is simple. Instead of buy cheap, buy twice, buy once, cry once. That's my motto. Spend the money on the things you can use every time you ride. Good gear, reputable accessories, parts that are designed for your bike specifically and can be installed with no fuss or customization. Once you embrace this mentality, all these little problems will begin to disappear. You stop having to just deal with it when you ride. It just works, because that's the goal. You don't want the cheapest setup. You want to remove as many little friction points from the experience as possible. And look, motorcycling is the ultimate anti-consumer activity, so why don't you truly embody that and just buy the good stuff the one time? All right, it's my favorite part of any giveaway that we do here on Yami Noob. It's when I tell you who won our most recent bike. Jay in Oklahoma took home the Moto Guzzi V7 Sport we recently wrapped up. Here he is enjoying life, looking wonderful with his Italian machine. But fear not, there is another Italian machine up for grabs on yaminoob.co. Click the link down below, become a member today, and get your best chance to win this bike. We've done over 70 giveaway motorcycles. Why not make yourself the next winner? Click that link below, support the show. Now let's get back to it. Most people treat riding like an event, something you have to plan for. You wait for the perfect weather, the perfect route, explicitly stated permission from the wife to have 2 hours of freedom. It becomes a whole production, and because of that, you end up riding way less than you think you do. The life hack is to flip that entirely. Stop treating motorcycling like something special and sacred, and just treat it like your default mode of transportation. Be a Chad. Running some errands, commuting to work, stopping in at your buddy's place to offer your condolences after his girlfriend broke up with him because she looked at his browsing history, all of those little inconsequential trips that you could have done with the car become seat time. And seat time is invaluable. You just want to pump those numbers up as much as possible. You got rookie numbers right now. You got to pump those numbers up, baby. Come on. You're not carving out extra time in your day to ride. You're taking advantage of time that was already there. You are leveraging yourself, baby. Come on. Which adds up faster than you might think. Instead of riding once a week when everything lines up perfectly, you're riding a little bit every day without even thinking about it. It becomes part of your routine, not something you have to schedule around. And then the whole world is going to open up. You're going to see the matrix inside of your mind. Everything's going to become clear to you. All these cagers in their cars, you're going to operate outside the bounds of the system. Traffic will no longer exist to you. You are a motorcyclist. It becomes an effortless improvement to your life, not some niche hobby you enjoy once in a blue moon. One of the most annoying parts about owning a motorcycle isn't riding it. It's worrying about it when you're not. Where do I park? Is it safe? Do I need a disc lock? Do I chain it to a post and litter the ground around it with mouse traps? Is some dude in a flat brim hat loading it into a van at this very moment? Will he accomplish the task so quickly that he'll have time to come into my bedroom while I'm sleeping and brush my hair with his gloved hand before he kisses me gently on the forehead? I don't know, maybe. For a lot of riders, your security measures are inconsistent and case dependent. If you're at a coffee shop in broad daylight, you'll leave it unlocked. If you're downtown after sunset, you lock it and park it under a streetlight. Sometimes when you get home, you'll throw a cover over it, and sometimes you'll say, it'll be fine. The problem is that it is not a system. It's not routine. It's an inconvenience when you only take it as necessary. The hack is to automate your anti-theft routine. Do the same process every single time without thinking about it. Put on your disc lock, put on your cover, the tracker's already hidden in an ideal spot. You don't need to debate with yourself. You don't need to decide to skip it one night. You just do all these things. You build the habit. Because when it becomes automatic, two things happen. First, your bike becomes way less appealing than the one next to it. Bike theft is a matter of convenience most of the time. It's kind of like that old quote. You don't have to outrun the bear, you just have to outrun your buddy. Second, you stop thinking about it. No more lying awake at night wondering if your bike is still there. You've just freed up a lot of mental, valuable bandwidth. And now you have brain power to worry about other things. If you'll ever be able to retire, if you'll even live long enough to retire, if anyone has ever loved you, if anyone has ever really known you, like the real you, the one you endure from the moment you wake up until the moment you go to sleep at night, not this mask you wear as the character of the self. Okay, now that I'm kind of saying those things out loud, maybe worrying about your motorcycle isn't the worst thing you could do, but I'm just messing around, of course. Lock that bike. You're not just protecting it, but removing the constant, aching, low-level anxiety that comes with owning one. One of the big reasons people don't ride as often as they'd like is because of how annoying it is to gear up and get ready. And I completely understand this. You've got gear scattered all over the place. Your jacket's on a hook in the garage, your boots are inside in the mudroom, your gloves are in your tail bag. Wait, they're actually inside of your helmet on the shelf. Nope, not there either. Where did I leave those damn gloves? Oh, they're in the bathroom because you sprinted inside when you got home because you were stuck in traffic and desperately needed to relieve yourself. So you didn't have time to take them off beforehand. You get what I'm saying? This is all friction. Every extra step, every inconvenience, every unsolicited game of gear hide and seek makes it easier to say, I'll just take the car. I don't want to wear all that crap today. So build a frictionless gear setup. Perhaps those squids that just wear a helmet have a point. Actually, no, don't do that. You got one dedicated spot, a hook for your jacket, a hook for your helmet, a boot rack for your boots, and a bin for your gloves. Everything in one place, ready to go at all times. No searching, no thinking, no decision making, no extra gear. You just got the gear you got. You walk into the garage, gear up, and you're out the door. When it's that easy, you ride more. It sounds insignificant, but look at the garage of an experienced rider. It's neat, tidy, organized. Then look at the gear setup of some broccoli head's efficiency studio apartment. Gear's just thrown all over the place. It's just complete and utter chaos. Organizing your gear removes one more barrier between you and a fun time on your motorcycle. And I personally think that tidiness is close to godliness. Have some dignity. And it sounds like a good plan to me. Thanks so much for making it to the end of today's video. What are some of your favorite motorcycling hacks that make riding easier? Let me know down below. If you can convince me you're actually riding around with a crushed soda can in your backpack to put under your side stand to prevent it from sinking into the asphalt, I will believe that you live in Arizona. That is not a hack. I've never met anyone who does that. It is ridiculous. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you in the next one. Fact: female kangaroos can pause their pregnancy, delaying embryo development until conditions are better for their young to survive. Sounds like humans are going to have to adapt that one pretty soon. Goodbye.